Fantastic. I hopped on just a little bit early because I wanted to test out my tech. Welcoming, welcoming you here now with me in this time, The Alchemist, Part 2. Claim this time and space for yourself right now to be present with this journey. Because what you're really doing is claiming presence with yourself. And you'll get the most out of this if you claim presence with yourself. Don't make it yet another thing that you say, oh, I'm going to go back and watch it later, or I'm going to pay more attention or better attention later. No, be here now. This is actually part of the power of the alchemist, is to drop in to the power of the moment. So we start right off with that. Now, welcome to anyone who might be hopping onto this for the first time. You haven't seen others in the Know Your Creator type series. If this is the first one that you've watched in the Know Your Creator type series, I encourage you to go back and watch the others because there is some building one on the other as we progress. And as we get started in this part 2 of The Alchemist, I want to do a little review with you first. So we started out with the Improviser. And the Improviser relates to fire element, summertime, intimacy, spontaneity, playfulness, novelty, humor, the heart. These are many resonances. Welcome, my friends from around the world. So happy you're here. Now, let's do a little review of the highlights of the Improviser and the Alchemist creator type. And play along with me. Let's treat this like a little quiz. See how many you get right, okay? So for each one, and we will do this for all 5 creator types as we go, and then you'll have a list of all these at the end that I'm going to send to you. So the Improviser, fire element, the magic of the Improviser is spontaneity. The superpower of the Improviser is presence and the joy, the effervescing joy that comes from presence. The Kryptonite for the Improviser, remember we're reviewing? What's the Kryptonite for the Improviser? Remember? Deceit. And I think oftentimes when we think about deceit, we think about somebody deceiving us, but the key refinement for improvisers is often deceit, self to self, self-honesty, self-transparency, particularly in relationship to your desires. If you're not being honest with yourself in relationship to your desires, that quality of deceit is directly connected to the improviser energy and fire element. The theme, what's the theme of the Improviser? Do you remember? It's one word. It's the life theme. Trust. And the hack for the Improviser. The hack is playfulness. If I had a bunch of confetti, I would throw it up into the air right now. I could throw all the things on my table up in the air, but they would land hard. Playfulness. Playfulness is the hack. If you're wanting to cultivate improviser energy or your improviser energy is feeling not authentic, off, play. Bring play into your work. Bring play into your creation. It's like magic. Now we're going to do the same thing and we're going to review the Alchemist. That's the one that we're currently in right now. The Alchemist creator type is associated with water element and wintertime. The colors blue, black, fear, legacy. A lot of these things I talked about in part 1. But let's go through those 5 sort of headlines, if you will. For the Alchemist, the magic is what? Mystery. The magic of the Alchemist is mystery. Sometimes I say emptiness. It's not already knowing, that mysteriousness. The superpower of the Alchemist What is it? It's power. It's true power. And sometimes you hear me refer to it as legacy because it is our relationship to power that crafts our legacy. And we're going to get into that in this time together. I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. The kryptonite for the alchemist is distraction, avoidance, and unacknowledged fear. Distraction, avoidance, and unacknowledged fear. You got any of that? The theme for the alchemist is faith. And the hack for the alchemist is meditation. Meditation, the choice for emptiness. So in part one, how are you doing with this, by the way? How's all this landing for you? And you can type it into the chat here if you want to, or if you're listening after the live, uh, pop something in the comments about what this is sparking in you, what's happening in you in relationship to this information, this play, this discovery process. In part one, we looked at the themes of the alchemist. We looked at what the alchemist looks like when they are off, and we looked at what the alchemist needs. Now, here in this part two, what we're gonna do is go into the needs and the specific practical and metaphysical tools that are particularly supportive for the alchemist. Now, as we head into this, I want to say for context that, as a reminder, that we all have all 5 creator types. And it's actually important to our expressed wisdom and our depth within creativity to develop all 5 types. But most likely, all of us are going to have 1 or 2 that we're really adept at, we're really good at just naturally, and it's easier to develop them even further in our life. And the others, we get the option to develop them. And I say take that option. And one of my desires and intentions for this time together is that not only that you feel the invitation to develop all of these types within you, but that you find an easeful and playful and accessible way for you to do it. Because I think ultimately, I mean, who doesn't want to be more aware? I mean, maybe some people don't, but I think that most people want to be more of themselves, want to be more healthfully expressed, want to live on purpose. And understanding the creator types and how to hack them, if you will, and how to grow them in ways that feel really good, even if there's a little burn in there at times, like when you're working out and you get a good burn, but it's nice because you can tell your muscles are developing. My intention for this time together is that you get that. You get the desire to want to develop them all, plus the direct access points to do it. Want to make it easy, no brainer, but you still have to choose. And we're going to play together in this time with some of the alchemist tools. Ready? All right. Because our ability to access the alchemist is directly connected to the way that we are with power, it's one of the most important creator types to thoughtfully develop over your lifetime. Do you get that? Because the alchemist within us, all of us, is the creator type that's most directly connected to power, it's one of the most important creator types to thoughtfully develop over time. And in fact, in Chinese medicine, we connect wisdom with this element, with water element, with this creator type. Because of the relationship between power and the alchemist, developing the alchemist within you is essential to the legacy that you leave behind. I want you to think right now, join me in this little thought experiment. I want you to think about the legacy that you've already created in your lifetime. How have you impacted people? What molds or boxes have you busted out of in service to creating, opening up more space for creativity? That's part of your legacy. What have you risked for? That's part of your legacy. Another way that sometimes I like to think, ponder about the current legacy that we have is to think of yourself if you were like a fragrance. If you like essential oils, think about yourself as your favorite essential oil right now. What is the fragrance that is left behind when you walk out of a room? It's kind of like your energy signature. That's part of your living legacy right now, everywhere you go. And now I want you to think about, what legacy would you like to leave behind when you transition from this earth? Just feel whatever it is that comes to your mind around this. It could be something like how you have impacted others. You know, how your lived life, what you've done, what you've shared, has gone on to live through others. Another way to think about this is what the creations that you left behind. What have you created that that remains when you depart from this body? How have you altered the collective consciousness through your ways of thinking, through your ways of emoting, through your ways of being? And of course, you can think about the legacy that you've left behind for your children or your family members, mm, your community members. So, when you imagine into what kind of legacy you want to leave, what quality or kind of legacy are you already leaving, your living legacy? How does it feel to you? Does it feel good? Does it feel full to you? Are you happy? Do you experience regrets right now in thinking about this? The good news, if you do feel any kind of uncomfortability around this, and maybe you don't, but if you do, the good news is that there's no time like the present right now to be and claim the person that you want to be. And I know this can go against the grain because we often think, oh, if I want to be this kind of person or leave this kind of legacy, I have all these steps to get there and it's going to take time. And then finally, I'm there. I'll finally create the thing that I want to create. I'll finally flow the money that I want to flow. I'll finally have the recognition that I want to have. What would it be like for you right now? And this is an important part of cultivating the power of the alchemist. What would it be like for you right now to find immediate union with the person that you long to be? You want to speak your truth more directly. Come into that right now. Feel it. If you're alone and you want to say something out loud that you've been holding in, say it. Name the thing. If you want to be more generous or more prosperous, land in this generous moment. Feel all the richness of resourcing that's available in your body right now, in your mind, in your psyche, connecting with me right here, right now. When you take the unnecessary time out of the picture, The unnecessary time is a little trick that the mind does where it's constantly putting distance between where you are and who you want to be. This is unnecessary time. When you take that unnecessary time out of the picture by claiming that energetic and embodying it to the best of your ability now, you are directly cultivating your power, your presence, your alchemist, and your improviser in real time. Who do you want to be? And who are you? Who are you? When I ask you the question, do you feel something that's maybe you're aware of something that you'll say about who you are, and then you also feel this sort of mysterious quality. Who am I? Oh, who am I? That's the alchemist energy, that mystery. Like it's this sort of question and answer at the same time, and this like, who am I? A question mark, and then a sort of formation of who you are by holding that question mark in this moment. Holding, giving rise to the mystery that is you. Okay, so now we're going to dive into what the alchemist needs with this as our context, with this practice as our thought experiment around legacy. Remember last week we talked about how the alchemist needs permissions to be in the unknown, to not already know. The alchemist needs permissions to be in the unknown and to not already know. This means that for all of us, for our alchemist, we need time in meditation. And there's many different ways to do meditation, but we need time in meditation to exercise the muscle of being able to choose to be in the unknown or to dip into the unknown as needed. And that's what most deeply nourishes the alchemist, to be in the unknown or to dip into the unknown as needed. So, to give you a concrete example, it could be something like I'm talking, and then I pause for a moment and I close my eyes. And I cease trying to figure anything out, trying to think about the next thing I'm going to say. And I wait until the next thing emerges from my being. That's an example of the muscle of the alchemist. If we don't know how to utilize the muscle of the alchemist, what happens in creation? What happens to you in creation if you don't know how to access that unknown, that pause, that sacred pause, the sacred rest? Well, I can think of a few things. You burn out, you get kind of scattered, talk too much, do too much, stay on the surface of things, tread water. If you're a creator and say you're creating content or something, it might feel a little superficial, even though you don't want it to be superficial and you aren't actually superficial, but you're not feeling the depth. So it's important for the alchemist to develop a mindset that allows you to pause, claim silence, and bear the discomfort of not already knowing. It can be uncomfortable in the beginning to bear the discomfort of not already knowing the answer. I know when I first began really giving myself over to developing the alchemist in myself when I was facilitating retreats, and I would pause in the beginning. It wasn't like it was always easy for me. It was enormously uncomfortable to stop and to completely let go of any agenda I had, including the agenda to be seen in a certain way, to be seen as smart or fun or a fabulous, whatever the thing was, to stop and drop everything and bear the discomfort of being in that silent pause moment with others, bearing witness. There's a burn with that in the beginning, and it is so worth it. It is so worth it. Start practicing now. Meditation is also one of the most direct ways to develop, uh, to exercise this muscle and to develop the alchemist's ability to merge with mystery, to be in the unknown, the not already knowing. Okay, now we're going to move on to fear and essential oils for the alchemist. The alchemist especially needs tools to acknowledge, feel, and transmute fear on the spot, because fear is, remember, the kryptonite of the alchemist is distraction avoidance, which are basically happening because we have unacknowledged fear. There's a strong relationship between the alchemist and fear. It's just as strong as the relationship between the alchemist and power. And that's because power and fear are on the same continuum. So as we exercise and develop our capacity for power directly connected to the alchemist, it means we're also facing, confronting, transmuting fears. They go hand in hand. Any place where you have fear, it's an invitation for reclamation of your power. Do you hear that? Any place that you have fear, that's an invitation for reclamation of more of your true power. So there are so many tools that one can use for transmuting fear, for acknowledging fear and transmuting fear. I would love for some of you to type into the chat or into the comments some of the tools that you use, because there are fabulous tools out there and different things work for different people. The point is to try things out and gather the tools that really work for you and then practice them to get the most out of them. So I'm going to list some of the ones that have worked really well for me and that have worked really well consistently for the thousands of clients and patients that I've worked with. Yes, breath and meditation, good. That was actually, Juanita, the first thing on my list is breath work. So breath work, essential oils. I'm going to loop back around to the ones that I'll suggest. No, that's funny. On my notes, it must be an autocorrect because it just says share yours. Oh, no, it wasn't an autocorrect. I actually wanted to ask you to share yours, but I started off with that. Wonderful. Share yours, please. Prayer, nature, walks in nature, saying the thing. Oftentimes we avoid. I know I can speak from my own direct experience. Like for a long time, I really did not know when I was in fear because I was so good at masking it with other things. So finally getting to the point where I could just say, like, I'm really afraid right now, or I'm really nervous right now, or I'm really anxious right now. Not because you're making a big old story out of it, but because when you name the thing with your intention to claim your power, then it loses its power as you name it. So there's the say the thing, and then there's the do the thing. A lot of times to transmute fear, the most powerful thing we can do is just do it. Just do it. If you're afraid to create something, just do it. Stop staying stuck. Do it. Start with the first thing and do it. There is no way around just doing it. Nobody else can just do it for you. No amount of classes can make you just do it. No amount of coaching can make you just do it. No amount of money or even, I was going to say struggle can make you just do it. But I do think that struggle, it kind of wears us down. And then finally we get to a point where we kind of hit a bottom like, I have to do this or else. But if you get in the habit of just doing it, you don't have to get all the way down here before you're like, it's the only option I have. Practice just doing it. Practice staying in consistent creative flow. This is one of the powerful things about taking on challenges if you're a creator, like maybe doing an Instagram live every day for a month or writing 750 words every day. I'm in that practice right now. Making a little video every day, doing some painting or drawing every day, writing for your book every day, just carving out a little bit of time to do that, to do the thing every day. That really is a powerful fear buster. The other one is taking the impersonal view. What that is it's basically zooming out and seeing that even though your fear or your anxiety, or even your worry for that matter, might feel very personal, it's also just a phenomena that is completely normal, especially when we start creating at the level of the heart. This stuff just comes up. Be prepared, expect it, and don't over personalize it. Don't create story around it. Just move into actions. The infinite self, connecting with your infinite self. It's really important to step out of just the finite historical you with your problems and your traumas and connect up into your higher self, your higher guidance, and also into the depths of the earth. And there's many different ways you can connect into your infinite self. I have some guided practices, I think here on my YouTube channel, but for sure on Instagram. There's a really powerful practice with the infinite self. It's under the meditations. Guided visualizations, biofeedback. Other things that people have listed here, yes. Now, the oils, let's speak to those, and then we're coming close to wrapping it up here today. I've so enjoyed being with you. The essential oil hacks for transmuting fear with fear in general, but particularly to connect us to the alchemist energy. Number one, does anybody know? My oil lovers? Kind of want to see if somebody types it in here. Number one oil for transmuting fear, especially for the alchemist, which is connected to water element. Yes, black spruce, girl, cypress, close runner up. That's that for sure. So black spruce, cypress. Let me list all the top ones that I have: black spruce, cypress, frankincense, myrrh. Of course, any oil that helps you to shift fear is an oil that's helpful for you to shift fear. These happen to be very alchemically and archetypally linked to the alchemist, water element, and fear. Black spruce, one of my favorite, is the womb sacral cradle. You put a bit of the oil and cradle the womb space. You can do that whether you're a man or a woman, and then press the other hand up against the sacrum. Cypress, I love on these upper kidney points here. You can just take a drop and hold it here or here in between your ribs. Cypress is really powerful for helping you die to something. So if you're really gripped and held by your fear in relationship to some story, and you're so ready for that to be done, think about cypress and do a cord cutting and lay it to rest. Give it a proper burial for freedom. Myrrh, I do also love these we call them the upper kidney points here for myrrh. You can also put it over CV17, and you can also put it over CV4, which is just a couple of inches above the pubic bone for myrrh. That's a powerful point. Frankincense is incredible for transmuting fear, especially around timing. A lot of our fear connects to timing because the timing piece connects to death, running out of time, our finiteness. Yes, our finiteness. So if you're finding that your fear or your anxiety that's revving is directly connected to, like, I'm not doing this in the right amount of time, or time is running out, or I'm getting too old to create what I want to create, or any of these things time related, frankincense, diluted right here. Feel the liberation in relationship to time. When I'm really getting bound up with fear or anxiety with time, I will just spend like the day with frankincense. I'll meditate with it. I'll put it on my third eye, pull it out of my pocket regularly and smell it. And I can't ever think of a time when it didn't completely shift my reality out of the fear. Beautiful. Okay, almost done. The next thing that the alchemist needs is permissions to believe and not believe. Permissions to believe and not believe, but also the power to align with something beyond this polarity. So if we say the polarity is, I'm a true believer, I'm a non-believer. I'm a true believer, I'm an atheist. And I'm not just talking about God, but a higher presence, a source, a higher power. True believer, atheist, I don't believe. It's really important for the alchemist and the alchemist within us, for us to develop what I like to call the magical third, which is the consciousness that exists beyond oscillating in that polarity. I believe, I don't believe. I believe, I don't believe. I have faith, I don't have faith, in the unknown. So those oils that I mentioned and all of those practices, the reason why they work is because they help bring you into that consciousness that's beyond that oscillating polarity. Remember that the theme for the alchemist is faith. And if we don't cultivate our capacity for faith, which in some ways is the ability to be in the unknown and locate ourselves as power simultaneously. If we don't develop that over time, our alchemist doesn't develop, which means our wisdom doesn't develop. This is important. The alchemist needs to embrace mystery in their demeanor. This is my most favorite one I wanted to talk to you about today. The alchemist needs to embrace mystery in their demeanor and presentation. So I did this for that reason. This is a black dress, and then I wore the red necklace for the improviser, so I'm combining the two. Maybe I'm just going to keep layering the creator types on my clothing as we progress. The colors associated with the alchemist because of mystery are black and dark blue, like the dark blue ocean, the deep ocean. So you can wear these colors. If you put on makeup, you can put darker makeup around your eyes. If you paint your nails, you can put a dark color on your nails. You can wear a shawl or something that's darker in color. And this isn't to be heavy or dense or take on some kind of witchy or wizard look, unless that's what you want. That does have an alchemist energy. It's about intending uh, to support yourself in accessing the alchemist energy by utilizing the props of the alchemist, the colors, the energies. You can drop deeper in your voice. Like, I bet if you go back and you watch the video of me as me with the improviser and now me as the alchemist, my voice is a lot deeper. This is the voice of the alchemist. A lot of times when I record my guided practices or meditation, my voice is deep. And it's because I will have just come out of meditation. The alchemist needs permissions to stream the known and the unknown via faith portals. What the heck does that mean? So, what this means is that it's really important in the development of your alchemist to take leaps of faith. No one can tell you exactly what your leap of faith is. You will know, though. You know how you'll know? Because you come face to face with something that scares the shit out of you, but you know in your bones that it's for you. In fact, depending on your level of awareness, you may know that you actually manifested it, you called it in. When you make those leaps of faith, for the reasons that I just described, you cultivate faith and also your capacity to be a transmitter of faith, which means you're cultivating your capacity to transmit the alchemist medicine, which is the medicine of true power. So, what's the leap of faith for you right now? What are you avoiding? Where are you putting time, unnecessary time in the picture? These are the contemplation questions for you this week. Good ones. Yeah. If you want to comment at all on this video about what that is for you, to have it be witnessed, please do. Love yourself. Love yourself this week. I so look forward to being together with you next week. And next week, we're going to go into the activist. So we've just worked with the vertical axis of the improviser fire and the alchemist water. And now we're going to go into the horizontal axis, which is the activist and the priestess, wood and metal. So get ready for the activist next week. And I also wanted to mention that after, looks like we're doing 2 weeks with each one. And at the end, we're going to have a beautiful review, maybe 2 weeks of sweet review, perhaps a little more interactive even, perhaps even theatrical. That might happen. And in closing, good, I like this. I want to read it to you. Remember that the alchemist in you is here to both reveal that which is hidden and to honor the truth of mystery, which is ever present. The alchemist in you is here to both reveal that which is hidden and to honor the truth of mystery, which is ever present. The point isn't to figure out the mystery. The point is to find union with the mystery through the depths of one's emergent being. Good. And by the way, speaking of risks for yourself and leaps of faith, I have one spot left in my Exponential You small group retreat here in Sardinia, where I am now. It's October 1st through the 5th of this year. If you're interested, if you feel the niggle, email Robin, my assistant, ROBIN at tiffanycarroll.com. I'll put her email in the show notes. Okay, until next week, I look forward to seeing you. From my heart to yours.